Hello, I'm Gary Simon of DesignCourse.com. Today is January 31st with the last day of the month, and we have 32 videos for you already this year. And today we are going to finish the mega tutorial iPhone Breathalyzer project by basically finishing up the HTML and CSS and a little JavaScript. Alright, so as always, check out DesignCourse.com. The project files are available for free in the video description here on YouTube, and also subscribe here on YouTube if you haven't yet. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is get this working when you click it. So we're going to use jQuery, which is based on JavaScript. And so just to get that up real quick, let's bring that back up. Download jQuery. You can either download it or you can use the hosted version, which is down here, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the min one right here. It's smaller in file size. So just go to jQuery.com/download. I'll link it as well, and you can just put in this code. Once you have that copied, we'll put it right here, and it has to go inside the head tag. And then also, we'll just copy that or paste that again real quick and change the source to js/script.js. And then save it. And then we have to create a new folder called JS. So over here, new folder, JS, and now it is in there. There's no files in it, so we have to create a new file. And I'll save that as script.js. All right, so now we are ready to roll. Okay, so basically, remember, when it comes to CSS and also with JavaScript and jQuery, you access these items by their ID or their class, and also by their actual HTML elements if you wish. So if you wish to target something specific like that toggle button, you have to use the ID associated with it. Let me real quick open that up real quick and get that back showing. Okay, so when it comes to this button, well, we have to know what that ID is so that we can look for the click. So that is right there. The ID is toggle switch. All right, so basically to get started, whenever you're working with jQuery, the first line I always put is document.ready function. Close that one, and then we have brackets here, and I just push that down a few lines, just give myself some room to work, and then just close it with these 3 characters. All right, so here's where everything will go inside this down here. So what we want to do is, the way you reference an ID or an element is you start with the number sign or the cash sign, parentheses, then quotes, and then the ID in this case is toggle-switch, and then a period after the parentheses. And now you have basically a ton of different ways. We want to look for a click. So we put in click, function, get rid of this one it created at the end, and then we hit enter a few times, and we close it up properly. And the reason we add these 3 is because, you know, as in here, we have this opening parenthesis and then this closing one. Same thing with this, with the function right there, we close it right there. All right, so basically this says right here, if the toggle switch, any element that has that ID, if that is clicked, then execute this inside here. So what we want to happen is something to drop down, which is, if we go back, we have to reference the ID, which is nav. So jQuery has what's called toggle. So let's reference that first, and that's nav, toggle, and close the parentheses. And my child is like yelling downstairs. All right, so let's see what happens here. Make sure you've saved that. We'll refresh this. And of course, nothing happens because that's life. And the issue is I did not have this saved. I just told you guys to save it and I didn't save it myself. So make sure you Control S that and refresh. And now it toggles down. Now this right here, it's a little bit too close. So obviously it's like way too close. So we want to fix that real quick. If we hit Control-Shift-I, it opened up off screen. We click that little magnifying glass, kind of see what we're working with, and that is ULID equals nav. So we're going to reference that in CSS real quick. So let's get out our CSS custom and UL nav. We want to adjust this though only for the 767 media query. Margin top, I'll try 20 pixels and save that. Go back, refresh, and click. All right, that's a lot better. And also, real quick, I kind of want to make this so that when you hover over, you'll see a black outline kind of, or black background. And so we'll do that here with CSS as well. So all we have to do is take UL nav, take that, and then just put :hover. Get that stuff out of there. Background dash color, the color code for black, and that's 3 zeros. And we will refresh to see what this thing looks like again. And right off the bat, there's no padding to the left, and that looks kind of just bad. So what we want to do is go ahead and take, let's see, it would be we'll put, yeah, right here. We'll change this to, I don't know, I'd say, and we'll start at 5 pixels and go back. All right, so that looks a little bit better. Now also, this image right here is overlapping this, and that just looks stupid. So we need to do a z-index on this basically containing element, which is UL nav again. So we'll go back here to custom, find UL nav up here, and let's see here, z-index, we'll put 2 and then display block just to make sure that works there, and refresh. And of course it is not working. 1 second. And that is because I had to add in header z-index 3. I just added that, so that works. So now the way this works is you can see it toggles on and off as it should. Now there's a problem though. Okay, so if we left it like this and then, for example, you know, increase the screen or the width rather, it works fine, right? Well, what happens when you do that? The damn menu goes away. So normally you wouldn't have to worry about this issue too much, but there may be a situation on a desktop, for example, somebody's, you know, they're scaling in and they happen to click down and they click down again and they wanted to see something wider. So you got to address this. And I never did a toggle menu before, custom at least, and I had a pain trying to figure that out, trying to fix this correctly. So I figured it out. So it's just going to require some extra jQuery with their scripts here. So basically this next part, you know, if you've never touched JavaScript or jQuery, you're going to be just like, what is going on? But that's fine. We're going to type out jQuery window on resize. So basically it's saying, you know, if they resize the window, then do this. All right, and we'll close that up like normal here. All right, and then we have a bunch of stuff in the middle. And so basically, if the window is resized, doesn't matter if it's pulled in or out, something's gonna happen right here. So we'd put if window width is greater than 767. Then do this. All right, so basically it's saying if someone's resizing, and then we're going to put another if in there, if the window width happens to be greater than 767, do this. And we will focus on that. And basically, we're going to put another if. So if jQuery nav, number nav, which is the ID, is parentheses, quotes, colon, visible, and then we put our nav show. Okay, and then we're going to also come out here after this portion and put else. So it's saying, you know, if the window that's being resized is greater than 767, man, I got to get off Facebook. You hear stuff in the background. All right. So anyhow, it's saying if the window size is greater than 767, and then it's saying if nav is visible, meaning if somebody's trying to, if this little exclamation point is very important. Basically, it means opposite of visible. So it's saying if it's invisible or if it's not seen, somebody, you know, clicked it and collapsed it, kind of like this, like they had it. I have a wrong one here. Oh, it's going slow because of my hard drive, I think. All right, fix that. Okay, so it's basically if somebody clicks this and then they click it again, that means that it's hidden. So that's what this line means right here. And so if it's greater than 767 and it's still hidden, guess what? We want to show it again because it was hiding it before. So hopefully you understand that. And then we have to put this else statement over here, which is tied to this. So it's saying if it's not greater than 767, do whatever's in here. And here's what we put. Nav hide. Okay, so let's see if this works. There might be some more CSS that we have to do. So let's just start out like we normally would. Refresh it. Bring it in. All right, so far so good. We click on it. We click on it again. And there we go. That code helped bring it back. You just want to make sure it kind of works on every instance. Oh, that's the one thing. So if we refresh this, we have it open, and we try to scale it, it will just kind of turn it off, which I don't think that's a big deal. So basically, that is it for the menu up here. So it functions and it works. So now what we want to do is just just two quick things. I'm going to add some hover CSS on these up here and these over here, or not these, but this. So basically, let's just make this black as well, because you know we have on the mobile version, it's hovering black. To keep things consistent, we want to make it hover up here black as well. So let's go back into our CSS, and I believe that is just simply, we gotta find the right here, and we'll put background color, and make sure we put hover, :hover. Save it, come back, refresh, bam, there we go. And you know, you could probably go with maybe even a lighter version of these colors right here, and it'll stick out more. It's up to you, no big deal. You know how to do it now. And then we'll just make this get slightly lighter. So let's go in here to Photoshop. We will take that button, we'll double click on it, make it just a little bit lighter. You can see how it lightens up. Copy that, color code, go back to CSS, and it was called CTA button. It was a class, just in case you wanted to have multiple buttons for some reason in the future. Let me put hover here. And we'll put background color and save it. So go back, and we got it hovering. And of course, you know, there are different CSS 3 transitions you can use, where you can fade it in, the hover, or no, the color rather. There's a bunch of stuff you can do, but that's pretty simple for now. And there you go. that is the end of the mega tutorial. I think that was like 9 days straight focusing on this project. Real quick, I'm just going to close. I'm going to pause. I'm going to open up our video we created too so we can watch that. And here that is. Let's watch that again.
Unsure if you're unfit to drive after a couple drinks? Blow into this device and it will let you know if you're over or
I just
under
realized you probably
the
can't hear
limit.
the audio. That's not cool.
With its compact design, Baxter is the
Yeah, you know what? Well,
first
you can still
iPhone
play,
powered
watch it.
breathalyzer. Available now.
So yeah, you learned, a ton for this tutorial. So if you went through, the first video to this last one, especially as a beginner, that's pretty awesome. You probably learned a lot, hopefully. And hopefully I gave you good information to learn from. So yeah, I'm going to be doing these mega tutorial type things throughout the year. I'm going to have to because I'm really trying to do this video a day thing and sticking to it. So yeah, I'm not even sure what tomorrow's video is going to be yet. But that's how it is, especially with all these crazy kids and my own business. I'm a freelance designer as well, but I'm not going to sit here and ramble on. So, if you liked the tutorials and like the whole daily video thing, subscribe here on YouTube, like us on Facebook and Twitter if you want, and check out designcourse.com. I'm actually just starting to work on the first paid course, and that is going to be a visual identity design course, which really ties in with logo design. Let me get out the course preview type thing I created just to show you here real quick. Okay, so I have like this massive document. I'm gonna have to zoom in here a lot so you can see what this will be about. So, I'm going to be calling it the visual identity course basically, and this is just the outline of what I'm creating. Course introduction, basically that's introducing the course obviously. And then I'm going to go over basically, the rough ideas or getting specific into the ideas of what visual identity is. We're not going to be designing things in this portion. This is all just going to give you a very solid foundation of understanding about what visual identity is and how it relates to a brand and how the logo design works in there. There's a lot of confusion. People think they know what a brand is, but they don't really know specifically, like if you ask them to. So we'll get into the use of colors, the use of typography. We'll take a look at what corporate identity guidelines are. And if you don't think you need to know this, basically that's the difference between just a lazy designer and then somebody who really knows their stuff. So you increase your value as a designer when you understand all this stuff. And so we also look at the different types of logos. And then we get to the part where we really start to get into projects and designing things for fictional companies or real companies. I think I'm going to have a couple logo design clients, maybe one where it will actually be a real visual identity project. And so you can see we'll be just a project brief, brainstorming, sketching. We're designing the logo. I always use Illustrator for that. And then the visual identity presentation in Photoshop, which is taking you take the logo, you present also with it, just like a business card, any type of the other visual aesthetics that are presented to the client for a full visual identity. And we're going to do 3 of these projects. So that way you get an idea about how to really form the idea of solid concepts that are unique, and also for a variety of different projects. So you do 3 of these, course conclusion, and then this is going to be cool. This is going to be optional as an add-on in terms of, I'm not sure how much I'm going to price it, but basically I'm going to assign a student a fictional project brief, which you're to construct a visual identity and then submit it to me. So the course instructor, which is going to be me, may require visions. It depends on what you turn in. But once complete, the student is granted a designcourse.com visual identity certification. So that will be something I'm thinking of will be physically mailed, but also available, like where you will have your name. This is optional, of course, on the designcourse.com visual identity designers index. So project brief, fictional project brief, and basically that is that. So basically I will be your teacher in a sense if you choose to do the course certification. And then everything up here is just going to be kind of separate. You don't have to do this stuff down here. You don't have to, enter yourself into that. All right, so look for that. I'm not sure. I can't really give a time frame. Hopefully within a month, definitely within a month or two. All right, so until tomorrow, I will see you. All right, goodbye.